The atmosphere on set turned tense in an instant when whispers spread that to Major Love and hip-hop stars, Bambi and Kirk Frost, had clashed in a way no fan could have ever imagined. Word was a heated argument between them had gone beyond just words, crossing a dangerous line that left cast, crew, and even viewers stunned. Those who witnessed it claimed the scene didn't feel like reality TV anymore. It felt like a high-voltage movie moment unfolding in real life, with emotions running dangerously high. Crew members were caught off guard, some frozen shock. Others reached for their phones, desperate to capture what was happening in front of them. Almost immediately, the buzz spread like wildfire across social media. Gossip blogs lit up with clips and cryptic captions, all circling back to the same burning question: was this real? Or just another carefully staged stunt for the cameras? And if it was real, what could have pushed things to this breaking point? Many fans believe the long-standing tension between Bambi and Kirk had finally exploded. But the truth behind this moment was far darker than anyone expected. It had started like any other shooting day. Crew members moved with their usual rhythm, cameras adjusted, lights glowing, makeup artists rushing in with last-minute touch-ups. But if you looked closely, you could sense something was already off the moment Bambi walked in. Her pace was deliberate, her eyes sharp, almost like she was preparing for battle. The chatter dipped just slightly, not enough to be obvious, but enough for anyone sensitive to energy to feel the heaviness in the air. Across the set, Kirk Frost was mid-conversation with a producer, speaking with his usual calm confidence. But the moment his eyes locked with Bambi's, that steadiness faltered. It wasn't much, just a flicker, but it was enough to tell he knew something was coming. Their stare lingered a beat too long, and everyone nearby could feel the invisible current sparking between them. Bambi approached with a controlled stride, her face unreadable. Kirk turned to face her, still holding on to that faint smile he used whenever tension rose. She opened with a comment that might have sounded casual on paper, but her tone carried an edge like a blade wrapped in silk. Kirk brushed it off as a misunderstanding, but Bambi wasn't buying it. The first few exchanges felt like chess moves, calculated, measured, probing. The restraint didn't last. Within minutes, Bambi's voice rose, her words sharper, her gestures bigger. She dragged up incidents from the past, moments she claimed Kirk had disrespected her, undermined her, or spoken behind her back. Private conversations that had somehow made their way back to her. Kirk, calm but firm, denied the more serious accusations outright. For the rest, he insisted Bambi was twisting things, blowing small issues out of proportion, making drama out of nothing. But instead of calming the storm, every denial only fueled her fire. The scene didn't go unnoticed. Cast members drifted closer, pretending to scroll on their phones, but never taking their eyes off the drama. Scrappy, who had history with both, crossed his arms and stood nearby watching, waiting, ready to step in if it crossed the line. In the corner, producers quietly debated whether to intervene or let the cameras roll on what was quickly becoming unscripted reality TV gold. Bambi's tone shifted, anger laced with hurt. She accused Kirk of planting seeds of doubt, of smiling in her face while undermining her behind her back. His face stayed calm, but the tension in his jaw betrayed him when he finally spoke. His words were clipped, colder. He told her she was embarrassing herself, making a scene that would only make her look bad when the episode aired. That line hit like a match to dry wood. Bambi stepped forward, closing the gap, her voice rising so everyone on set could hear. At least I'm telling the truth. The room tightened, a boom mic operator leaned in closer. A stylist froze mid-fold, eyes locked on them. Kirk lifted his hands slightly, signaling calm. But the look in his eyes told another story. This wasn't surrender, it was calculation. He muttered something low, too quiet for most to catch. But whatever it was, Bambi's reaction said it all. Her eyes widened, then narrowed into a glare sharp enough to cut glass. She stepped even closer, the air between them electric. Her voice dropped, but her words burned. I've been warned about you for months. I chose to give you the benefit of the doubt. I was a fool. Kirk shook his head slowly, dismissing her as twisting the narrative to look like a victim. But Bambi fired back, trembling not from fear, but from the sheer weight of what she'd been holding in. She dragged up a recent situation involving another cast member, hinting at shady dealings she believed Kirk had orchestrated. The room shifted. Crew members quietly moved chairs out of the way. A producer stepped forward, bracing to break it up. Everyone could feel it. The fight had gone from verbal sparring to something far more dangerous. Bambi pointed straight at Kirk, her voice shaking the air. I'm done. Done with your games. Done with your fake smiles. Done pretending everything's fine. Her words carried such finality that even those clueless about the backstory felt the weight. Kirk's silence, in that moment, screamed louder than any comeback. The tension pulse between them, thick and alive. Every pair of eyes was locked on them, waiting for the snap. Then, in a voice calm but cutting, Kirk landed the blow. You're not as important to this show or to the people here as you think you are. The room gasped. A stylist whispered, "Oh no." Bambi's face froze, her hands flexing at her sides. She reminded him of the times she had defended him, protected his name when others questioned his loyalty. And now this, in front of everyone. The cameras zoomed in. Scrappy finally stepped forward, warning them both to chill before it crossed a line they couldn't undo. But neither looked at him. Bambi's eyes locked on Kirk with fire. Her voice cracked as she revealed an off-camera incident most had never heard of, something deeply personal, something that rattled the crew. Gasps rippled across the set. Kirk's denial came too fast, too defensive, and then Bambi dropped the word that froze the entire room. Proof. She claimed she had proof: messages, witnesses, receipts. The air shifted instantly. Producers leaned in, camera angles tightened. Everyone knew this wasn't just drama, this was season-changing. And as she reached into her bag, pulling out her phone, the room stopped breathing. Her thumb hovered over the screen, ready to expose everything. But then, she hesitated. The room felt suspended in time. Every sound was amplified: the faint hum of the overhead lights, the muffled cough of someone in the back, even the soft whir of a camera lens adjusting focus. Kirk's eyes never left Bambi's, steady but tense, the twitch in his jaw betraying his calm exterior. A producer tried to step in, cautiously moving between them with hands raised, urging professionalism, reminding them this was still a set. But his words evaporated into the heavy silence. Bambi didn't look at him. Kirk didn't either. The only conversation happening was silent, an unspoken battle of wills between two people determined not to be the first to blink. Then Bambi cut through the tension like thunder. Her voice was sharp, deliberate. "If you think I won't blow up everything we have for the sake of truth, then you never knew me at all." A ripple went through the crew. Kirk stepped closer, his voice dropping into a low rumble that somehow carried across the room. "You're not just risking us, Bambi. You're playing with fire that could burn people you don't even realize are in the line of it." Bambi's eyes narrowed. She accused him of trying to intimidate her, of hiding behind vague warnings instead of simply telling the truth. Kirk's gaze didn't waver, but the tension in his expression betrayed that her words had landed. From the sidelines, Scrappy shifted uneasily, reading the danger in the air. He'd seen reality TV fights before, but this wasn't entertainment anymore. This was raw, real, and on the edge of collapse before he could step in. Bambi unlocked her phone and started scrolling. The sound of her finger flicking across the glass echoed like a gunshot in the silence. Every eye locked on her, waiting for the moment she'd turn the screen toward the cameras. But before she could, Kirk's hand shot out, not to grab, but to firmly press it back toward her. His touch was controlled, but the message was clear. His voice was low, intense. "Don't do this without knowing the full story, you'll regret it." That stopped her, not because he threatened her but because he didn't. The words weren't what she expected. The aggression in the room shifted to a strange, uneasy curiosity. Bambi tilted her head, studying him. "Then explain," she demanded. Kirk glanced at the cameras, then back at her. "There are things happening behind the scenes you don't know about, alliances, deals, conversations that aren't about loyalty or betrayal in the way you think. If I tell you, it pulls in people who shouldn't be part of this mess." Bambi laughed, short and sharp. "You've used that excuse before. Always vague enough to make me doubt myself. Never solid enough to change my mind. I'm not falling for it this time. The tension climbed again. Kirk's voice hardened. "Once you cross this line, Bambi, there's no going back. That's not a threat, that's reality. Be careful about which bridges you burn." Her breathing quickened, her chest rising as fire built inside her. "Maybe some bridges need to burn. Maybe this whole set needs to see the kind of man you really are when the cameras aren't around." For the first time, Kirk's composure cracked, his voice rose. "Heed in every word, you're twisting the truth. You're letting gossip and half-stories poison your judgment." Gasps erupted around the room. A makeup artist dropped her brush, the clatter ringing out like a bell. Bambi stepped closer, her voice low. "Dangerous, the only gossip I listened to comes with receipts." She lifted her phone again, just enough to remind him what she had. Scrappy finally stepped in, planting himself between them, voice calm but firm. "Enough? Stop before this turns into something none of us can walk away from." Cameras are rolling. Fans will twist this into something way bigger than y'all intended. But Bambi didn't look at him. Her eyes stayed locked on Kirk. "I'm not afraid. At the cameras, I'm afraid of letting lies live unchecked." Kirk muttered something under his breath, too quiet to hear, but the venom in his tone made Bambi stiffen. A crew member whispered to another, "This is the episode everyone's gonna talk about. It might overshadow the whole season." Bambi's voice dropped to a chilling calm. "I'm done protecting you. Whatever happens next, It happens in front of everyone, Gasp's eyes widened. The air crackled with anticipation, and then she turned toward the nearest camera, phone still in her hand. She didn't raise it yet, but the intent was undeniable. Maybe it's time the audience saw what I've been holding back. The energy shifted again from tense to volatile. People leaned in without realizing it, like they were watching the first spark of a fire and knew the flames could leap any second. Kirk took one urgent step toward her, trying to stop her before she crossed the line. And then her phone lit up. An incoming message. Her eyes flicked down, she froze. Whatever she read stopped her cold. Kirk noticed immediately, his eyes narrowed, a flicker of recognition flashing across his face. But he said nothing. The silence returned, heavier than before. Bambi's face glowed in the light of her screen, her expression unreadable. Her thumb hovered above the glass, caught between reply and restraint. Kirk crossed his arms, his stance rigid, watching every move. Scrappy glanced between them, sensing the shift but not knowing which way it would break. The crew stayed perfectly still. Reality TV veterans who knew when to blend into the background. This was one of those moments. Slowly, Bambi lowered the phone but didn't put it away. She looked at Kirk with a new calculation, her voice almost too soft to hear. Maybe I've been focused on the wrong part of the story all along. Murmurs rippled through the room. Kirk's brow furrowed. What do you mean? But she didn't answer immediately. Instead, she stepped back, her tone steadier now. If what I just read is true, then this fight isn't just about us, it's about someone else entirely. The crew gasped. Scrappy demanded clarity, but Bambi's eyes never left Kirk. She revealed the message came from someone with no reason to lie, someone with nothing to gain. And it claimed Kirk had been at a private meeting the night before. Not a business dinner, but a secret gathering where backdoor deals were being made to undercut someone they both knew. Kirk's lips pressed into a thin line. Whoever sent that is misinformed or trying to use you to stir chaos. Bambi's voice sharpened. If it's untrue, why do you look so bothered? The pause before he answered said more than his words ever could.